Our next guest says the president should take the deal and move on. But at this late hour, what's he really hearing about whether the president's going to hesitate? Republican Lindsey Graham, chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee and golfing partner to POTUS. You get all kinds of scoops. So I know you've been talking to the president. Where is he on this thing? Because I'm hearing tonight it's, quote, leaking oil. This thing coming together.
It is leaking oil, but not because of him. The president, I think, is ready to accept the wall money and more judges and more bed space. But what we're arguing about now at this late hour is whether or not we're going to pay back pay to contractors. We've never done this before. We've had a bunch of government shutdowns, but never have the Democrats insisted that we pay contractors back pay. I think that's a bad precedent to set. So they're throwing that in right here at the right before midnight, and they're also we're arguing about the Violence Against Women Act, which runs out Friday, and we're just saying, okay, let's keep talking about it. Let's authorize it as it is until September, and work out our policy differences. Let's don't stop this from reaching a deal on funding the government. So
your concern is not that the president won't sign the deal as we understand it right now.
I'm more worried about Democrats than him.
Okay, all right. So there's this, there's been criticism from some on the right who say the president didn't get enough out of this deal. He has said, I'm going to use other avenues to move around money. Some folks on other networks, like Morning Joe, they don't think the president has the right to do that.
If you read your Constitution, all funding begins, of course, with the legislative branch and also the executive branch when the executive branch can't get the legislative branch to agree to give them the funding they need. Actually, what Lindsey Graham just said, again, unconstitutional. What Mitch McConnell is suggesting, unconstitutional. But this whole thing doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
You have a copy of the Constitution?
I don't have one on me, but I have a copy of last year's appropriations bill. In last year's appropriation bill, Section 284, I think, allows the president to spend up to $880 million to erect barriers where there are drug corridors. That's a pot of money. The bill also allows to move $4 billion around in the defense budget at the discretion of the president and the secretary. When you add all that up, it's pretty much what he needs. So why should he take this deal? The 1.375 can be used to build barriers. Nancy Pelosi said not a dollar for barriers or a wall. He's going to get almost
1.375.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot more than a dollar. He's going to get money for more judges. Nobody talks about that. There is no limit on bed space like I was worried about. So take this as a down payment, go into the defense bill and move money around like Congress allowed you to do last year and build this damn wall. $5.7 billion is what he wants. The difference between 1.375, find on your own, declare a national emergency because it is, and move the money around and secure this border.
All right, here's what Rush Limbaugh says on this idea of the national emergency, which a lot of Republicans, have said they're not down with it. Here's Rush.
If they have to declare a national emergency and go through the courts and have the Democrats go through the motions of trying to stop it, then all the better. Let the Democrats demonstrate as often, as loudly as they can. They do not want border security.
They're going to go file in the Ninth Circuit. They're going to find a friendly judge in the Ninth Circuit.
So from a Republican point of view, Rush is right. I don't always agree with Rush Limbaugh, but he couldn't be more right here. One, there's some money you can get without being sued, but the president should declare a national emergency because it is, and let the Democrats argue that it's not. Talk about why they don't want to secure the border, and we do. It is a great issue for 2019 and 2020. It is a legitimate national security issue, and we would be idiots as Republicans not to support Donald Trump to try to build this wall any way he can legally, and he has the authority as president to declare a national emergency. There are monies available to him in the current budget to move around and help build the wall. We'd be stupid as a party not to stand behind him. I can't think of a better issue to define the Democrat and Republican Party than this.
All right, well, we will see as this plays out in the coming days whether this gets to the president's desk, whether he signs it, and where the rest of the money comes from. Senator Graham, Mr. Chairman, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thanks.